Hey, Nancy here with the fourth session in our La Terraza and After the Camino series. In case this is your first time tuning in, La Terraza is our new online pilgrim community for people who have walked one of the routes of the Camino de Santiago and want to ensure they get the most out of their pilgrimage by spending time focusing on what happens after they return home. It's for people who want to have their reasons for walking the Camino, their why, alive and thriving in their everyday lives. Why would that be important? When we walked the Camino, we discovered a few things. We discovered something called Camino magic, that experience of awe and wonder when we slowed down to the pace of walking, when we settled deeply into the present moment, and when we opened our hearts to strangers, ourselves, and something bigger than ourselves. We discovered the true meaning of the phrase, the Camino provides. Curiously, the Camino didn't always provide what we wanted, but if we looked closely enough, we could see that it provided what we needed. We discovered a new version of ourselves, one we liked and wanted to become better acquainted with, one we would like to hang out with on a regular basis. We discovered an inner strength and confidence, and we suspected it might have been there all along. We just didn't know how to access it. We discovered the spirit of the Camino and wanted more of it. And then we went home. What happened then? I'll tell you, some of my returns home from the Camino felt like a giant kerplunk. Others have felt like I had fallen into a deep well. Still others reminded me that if I could make something as big and significant as a pilgrimage on the Camino happen, then perhaps I could do other big things. You thought walking the Camino was a big deal, right? Well, coming home from the Camino also is no small feat. Turns out, walking the Camino wasn't about what we thought it was about before we went. It wasn't about our boots or backpack. It wasn't about whether we slept in hotels or albergues, or whether we had a poncho or a rain jacket. It wasn't even about walking across a country and doing that in the rain or under blue skies with puffy white clouds. No, walking the Camino was about you. It was about you and your life and living it as a loud, clear yes. It was about showing yourself that you can climb mountains, walk through literal and metaphoric storms, do hard things, and push yourself when things got difficult. It was about being a part of something bigger than yourself and discovering your rightful place within that. It was about knowing that that bigger something has your back at all times, if only you could remember that. And here's what I think is the most important part. Once you finished your walk in Santiago or wherever you finished walking, in many ways, your pilgrimage was just beginning. That's because once we returned home, we found out what it was really all about. When you got back into your real life and had to function off the trail, without the structures of the Camino, without the rhythm of the road, and without the freedom that comes from living life at the pace of walking, that's when you found out just how big of an impact the exterior journey had on your inner self. Show of hands, who was prepared for that hard landing back at home? Yeah, me neither. So listen, if you have walked one of the Camino routes and you know your pilgrimage isn't yet over, I want to invite you to join me in our new pilgrim community, La Terraza. I've been talking about this for a while now, since at least episode 122, which released in mid-July 2025, and I'd been hinting at it for a while before that. Now I want to give you the whole story on what this is and what it isn't, and how you can be a part of it. First, do you know why the community is called La Terraza? Think back to your time on the Camino, when you walked into a town or village, and one of the first things you came to was a bar with tables and chairs out front. There you found your pilgrim friends, some you knew, Others you didn't. Some you had just seen in the last town, and others you hadn't seen for a few days. If it had been a hard stage, there might have been a sense of relief as you connected with your Camino family. Or if you had been walking without food or water, you knew you were about to find what you needed most. That place out in front of the bar is called the Terrace, or in Spanish, La Terraza. And it's where things happened on the Camino, where we connected, shared food and drinks, laughed, commiserated or celebrated the last stage, or planned for the next one. This new community, La Terraza, is our gathering place. It's where we hang out, have conversations, and share our stories. It's also a place where you can sit quietly with your journal and reflect on your journey. The community is made up of people who have walked the Camino and get it. It's a unique place because all we are talking about is what happens after you come home from the Camino. We are exploring questions like, how do you deal with the post-Camino blues? How do we get to the heart of why we are feeling this way? What really happened to us on the inner journey of the pilgrimage? How do I find and understand the lessons of my Camino? Now that I've done this big thing, what am I going to take on next? If I were to sum up the purpose of the La Terraza community, I would say it is to bring pilgrims together, to connect, share our stories, and support and encourage each other. We are doing that for 4 reasons. 1, so that we can honor the Camino experiences. 2, so that we can carry the spirit of the Camino into everything we do. 3, so that we can keep the magic of the Camino alive in our lives long after we leave the trail. And 4, so that our reasons for making this pilgrimage stay alive and continue to inspire, guide, and enrich us in the years ahead. All of that takes attention and time. It takes a commitment to yourself and to having the life you want. If you walk the Camino to have a closer relationship with God, or to have more freedom or adventure in your life, or to heal from losing a loved one, those pursuits don't end when you leave Santiago. But how do you pursue them once your entire day isn't devoted to walking from town to town and the simplicity of life as a pilgrim? And how do you stay on track when your purpose isn't as clear as having Santiago as a destination? That's what this is for, to support you in having what you want in your life and having what you learned from your pilgrimage exist as a living practice that continues to shape who you are becoming. It's meant to ensure that the spirit of the Camino becomes the foundation for a life filled with meaning, connection, and joy. Let me share with you everything you get with your membership. The community is the people. It is the pilgrims who are its members, but it has to live somewhere, so we have an online space where we meet virtually and where you access everything we offer. You can access La Terraza through our website or through an app on your phone. Each month we have a theme that supports us in focusing on one specific aspect of bringing home the Camino. You've already seen this month's theme, which is mining the lessons of the Camino. Next month's theme is telling your Camino story, the one you want to tell and the one others want to hear. Turns out it's not that easy to talk about our Camino experiences. The core content inside La Terraza is an online course, and it's a bit like a self-directed coaching program or a mini self-guided retreat. It has audio sessions and prompts for journaling and reflection to help you pull your new insights into daily life. These sessions are perfect for people who want to process their Camino experiences at their own pace, either privately or through discussions with other pilgrims. Each month I add a new module or chapter to the online course, so you regularly receive new content to help you go deeper and broader into the lessons and gifts of your pilgrimage. If you've been trying to process your Camino experience alone, you know how hard that can be. Progress is slow because life gets in the way. But that's not the only reason it's slow. Another reason is that, honestly, without guidance, we don't know how to process the inner journey of the Camino. That's what the course is for, as well as the other components of La Terraza. With the course, things start to shift right away. But it's subtle. You have to pay close attention to each step, just like you did on the Camino. Here's what else you'll find in La Terraza. Twice a month, we have a gathering called Tapas Tuesdays. We meet on Zoom, and everyone has the chance to share what I call a small bite story or anecdote related to the monthly theme. If you've never sat around and heard pilgrims tell their stories, one right after the next, you are in for an inspiring treat. While I'm on the Camino in September, the Tapas Tuesday gatherings will be hosted by pilgrims you know, Claire and Richard and Maurice, all of whom have been guests on this podcast. And while I won't be hosting the Tapas Tuesday events in September, I will be going live several times a week right from the trail with a special broadcast that highlights the Camino Frances. We have other meetups on the calendar and in the works, too. The first one coming up is our new member live launch event on Thursday, August 28th. That's at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. On that call, we are going to gather to officially kick off the La Terraza community and hear from you what you are hoping to get out of being a member. You will get to meet other members, and I will share some thoughts on how to get the most out of being here. I am also lining up some of the guests from this podcast to host monthly gatherings on topics they are passionate about. Now, here's what's cool. All of these guests have already walked the Camino, so we won't be sitting around talking about how to pack or what boots are best or whether you need a sleeping bag or a liner. You already did all that before you walked the Camino. Instead, our guest speakers are going to be talking about topics specifically tailored for seasoned pilgrims. Let me give you a few examples. You may remember Chad, who has been on the podcast a couple of times. He recently got back from walking a combination of Camino routes that included the Norte, the Frances, and a couple I had never heard of. Chad is going to host a session on those routes, so if you are looking to be inspired to walk another Camino and have it be an all-new adventure, you are going to enjoy Chad's session. Do you remember Fiona from Australia? She has been on the podcast a couple of times, and she has agreed to come talk with us about the Kumano-Kodo pilgrimage in Japan, which is the sister pilgrimage to the Camino de Santiago. You may even get to hear about her trek to Everest Base Camp. And then David, my U.S. pilgrim friend, who has been on the podcast a couple of times and who hosted that incredible, inspiring pilgrim event after he got home from his pilgrimage, will be hosting a session on how to host a killer Camino event. Next, on the topic of how to bring the Camino home, which is the goal of our community, I'm working on a couple of guest speakers who specialize in this topic. The one I have confirmed is author and pilgrimage guide Jen Mangloss, who recently released her book, The Way Back, Reflections, Practices, and Rituals to Help You Bring Home the Wisdom of Your Pilgrimage. Jen will be hosting a workshop for us on November 18th. This is just to get us started. We will have a special guest event every month. I know that not everyone will be able to attend all of our events, so each one will be recorded so you can attend virtually at your convenience. You won't miss a thing. Now, those are our online meetups, but we also have a big goal to meet up in person. Our long-range vision is to have an annual in-person retreat for the community. And by the way, if you meet someone in the community who lives close to you and you both want to meet up, you can do that at any time. There's more too. You may have discovered on the Camino that things go better when we work together, and we are bringing that idea into La Terraza. We are building a community-sourced, best of the best guide for the Frances and Portuguese routes. This collaborative project is a way for you to relive your Camino memories while building an incredible resource for future pilgrims. If you have favorites on the Francés and Portuguese routes, favorite albergues, places to sleep, sites, and people who impacted your pilgrimage experience, they can go right into the online guide with photos and your descriptions of what made them a favorite. These are big projects, as you can imagine, and we won't be rushing them. Each person contributes what they want when they can, and step by step, we will build an inspiring collection of favorites to pass on to our pilgrim successors. 4 times a year, we are going to have a community-wide challenge to match the current monthly theme. I've been sharing our current challenge with you this past week. In La Terraza, we are taking the entire month of August to mine the lessons of the Camino. Our next challenge will likely be in November, topic to be announced. What's fun about these challenges is that we do them together with other pilgrims. You get to ask questions, share tips, get support and encouragement, and celebrate your victories with people who get it. For some people, the allure of La Terraza will be all the gatherings and the interactive conversations we have inside the platform. Others may be more interested in processing their Camino experience quietly and privately. You can do it your way. The thing is, however you participate, you are never on your own unless you want to be. And we are just getting started. We want your input on future content and direction. This community is yours, and you will get out of it as much as you put in. Before I get to how the membership works, I want to touch on a couple things this is not. It's not social media. While parts of the setup look similar to social media, meaning you can post questions and stories and photos, the content is laser-focused on the topic at hand, bringing the Camino home. There are no ads, no sponsored posts, and no spam. Just other pilgrims sharing their stories and their after-the-trail pilgrimage journeys. The other thing this is not is a Netflix-like or entertainment-based program. You might find yourself entertained by pilgrim stories, but the goals of La Terraza are post-Camino transformation, keeping the spirit and magic of the Camino alive in our everyday lives, and bringing those qualities to our families, circles of friends, communities, and the world. It's bringing home your pilgrimage experience in a way that makes a difference in your life and the lives of those around you. Okay, now let's get down to business, and I'll tell you how this works. La Terraza is a membership-based community. You can choose to sign up and pay month to month, or you can commit to an entire year at a time and get 1 month free. For some people, joining La Terraza will be an obvious yes. You can see the value, bringing home the gifts of your Camino is a priority for you, and it fits into your budget. I know that for others, joining La Terraza won't be an easy decision, simply because this isn't a free offer. You may not have the room in your budget to take on another expense, even if you can see the value inherent in joining the community. My goal is to make this accessible for as many people as possible, so we are starting off with 2 plans with 2 different price points. If you want to get everything I've been talking about, the online course with a new chapter or module every month, 4 challenges a year, 3 live events a month and more to come, the collaboration projects, and the ability to connect directly with other members via private messaging and daily prompts, you can sign up for the All Access Plan. This plan is for people who want to say a big, clear yes to having the Camino experience fully a part of their everyday life, and they want to keep the magic and spirit of the Camino alive within a community of other pilgrims who share their vision. The All Access Plan is $27 a month. If you know you are in this for the long haul, you may want to select the annual plan for $297 a year, which will give you 1 month free. Now, there might be a reason why the All Access Plan doesn't feel like the right fit. It could be that, as I said a moment ago, it just doesn't work with your budget. I get it. I am keeping a close watch on my expenses these days too. If that's you, stay with me because I have another option for you. There may be another reason why you might hesitate to jump in on the all-access plan. It could be that you aren't yet sure the value is there or if this will work for you. The truth is, this is only as valuable as you make it. The value lies in jumping in, connecting with other pilgrims, and allocating the time to participate in the online course, the challenges, the collaborations, and attending the live events. You've had access to the Mining the Lessons Challenge over the past 3 episodes of the podcast, so you can see the type of content to expect inside La Terraza. I know we went through it all really fast, in less than a week, and that's way too fast to get all the possible benefits and transformation from the challenge. But it does give you an idea of the contents and guidance you can expect when you join us in La Terraza and share the After the Camino journey with other pilgrims who help each other live out the wisdom of the Camino. Registration for La Terraza will be open from noon today, which is Tuesday, August 19th, through midnight on Saturday, August 23rd. So you have some time to go through the first 3 parts of the challenge before signing up. For those of you who are not in the U.S., those are California times and dates, so keep an eye on that. If you are listening to this episode after August 23rd, 2025, and you want to join La Terraza, check my website for the next open enrollment period. It will likely be in late October or early November. And if you have not yet walked the Camino, it's important that you wait until after you get back home to join La Terraza. Or depending on when you walk and when we open registration again, it's best if you wait until you are near the end of your walk to join. That's because the conversations we are having in the community make sense only if you have already walked all or most of your Camino. Joining too soon would be like arriving at the movie theater in time to see the last 30 minutes of the movie, or watching the final season of a show like Friends or The Big Bang Theory without seeing the previous seasons. It just wouldn't make that much sense. Also, if you are on my email list, I will let you know when the next registration window opens. To get on my list, go to thecaminoexperience.com. Okay, let's back up a bit. I already shared the price of the all-access plan, $27 a month or $297 a year. That gives you access to everything, the online course, 4 challenges a year, 3 live events a month, the collaboration projects, and the ability to connect directly with other members via private messaging and daily prompts. If that doesn't work with your budget, or if you want to try out part of La Terraza before jumping into the all-access plan, you can join what's called the course-only plan. That one gives you access to the online course with the initial core content already loaded in and a new chapter or module added every month, and also access to regular prompts and questions to stimulate conversation and build connections with other pilgrims. The course-only plan is the light version, but it also holds the potential for great transformation. It all depends on how willing you are to engage with the content and interact with your fellow pilgrims. The course-only plan is $7 a month or $77 for a year, and you can upgrade to the all-access plan at any time just by sending me an email. If you have already walked one of the Camino routes, I want to invite you to join us in La Terraza. I want to invite you to get connected to this small, dedicated group of pilgrims who love the Camino and are keeping the experience alive off the trail. We are just getting started, and I hope you will join us. I can't wait to hang out with you and see what happens when your reasons for walking the Camino are in full force in your everyday life. So again, the dates to register are from Tuesday, July 19th, noon in California, through midnight on August 23rd, 2025. That's a Saturday. To join us, go to thecaminoexperience.com/La Terraza. Let me spell that for you. That's La Terraza, LaTerraza. And the link is in the show notes. I'll see you there, and I'll be back on the weekend with the final part of the Mining the Lessons of the Camino Challenge. Thanks for joining me on this journey.